Hey, man.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
You're famous. I want your autograph.
No, I'm not famous.
Talk as the mayor of Nome, Alaska, that's something.
Yeah. I mean, I also wrote to a couple newspapers in Alaska, the Nome Nugget, and also one in Anchorage. I tried getting hold of the governor of Alaska, but I wasn't able to get an email back from him.
But either way, I think the governor is pretty busy, so... Yeah. But, still, I would think he'll eventually... I think he'd probably get to it, because I think the governor of Alaska at least should, appreciate what you're trying to do here.
Yeah.
Actually, I think what could happen from this, I think would be kind of interesting, is if Balto was moved to a museum in Nome, potentially. I don't know if, perhaps if it seems that Cleveland doesn't seem to care as much as they used to, if it was moved up to Nome where tons of people would care about it because, dog sledding up in some more remote parts of Alaska is still, the way of life, the one way people get around.
I know they want to get him back. I know they passed a law in the Alaska State Congress to get him back, but Ohio said he's part of their history as well, so they're not going to give him back.
Yeah, because I think it's what I remember from the story is that some years after the event happened, they found Balto and all the original sled dogs in some sideshow, and so the city Cleveland bought Balto and all the other dogs and brought them back, and they paraded them around the city once they got him there, and he's been there ever since. But it seems like they apparently just had them there, and they kind of slowly forgot about it or stopped caring or something like that.
Well, even my father was quite surprised. In my father's own words, he was almost added there as an afterthought, almost.
Yeah, I know. I've never been there, but from the way you're describing it, it seems like it's some, exhibit that they put there because they felt like it, but they didn't put a lot of effort into it.
I thought that they needed to take up space, and that's where they decided to put them.
Yeah, I agree. The seasonal exhibit should be like a permanent exhibit. And then it should just be, at the very least, they could advertise it, during the Iditarod season.
Yeah. Okay.
So, anything else you want to say about your petition before we wrap this part of your interview up?
No, just please sign it. If we can get as many signatures as we can, we really can make a difference. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there saying, well, it's not going to do anything. Well, it's better than nothing.
At least try.
We tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much like Steve and his Balto Special Edition DVD petition. But, okay. First of all, Ahura, you have 85 fanfics, the most on Balto Source. How long have you been writing all that?
I managed to find time whenever I can. I'm fairly busy during the week because of college, but whenever I have any free time, I usually like to sit down and write because I find it to be not only incredibly soothing as a stress reliever from all the exams and whatnot, but also a lot of fun. I like to write.
Well, when did you start?
Dang.
Yeah, that's going to be my next question.
Probably back in 2005, usually around the first time I joined the Balto Source.
Most of your fanfics are poems and short stories. Do you prefer poems and short stories over full-length stories?
I prefer writing short stories because I really don't have the time for a full-length novel. My time is strapped during the week, so short stories are fairly easy to crank out. Poems are, fairly easy to write. I don't really rhyme. I find that if you rhyme too much in a poem, you become more concentrated on rhyming than actually trying to get what you're trying to say across.
Yeah. I see.
Been there, done that. Why do you prefer writing Balto fanfics other than some of the other source fanfics, like All Dogs Go to Heaven or even The Lion King?
Well, that's because I'm a bigger fan of Balto than either one of those movies.
Yeah, forward point.
Makes sense, I guess. And do you try to make your fanfics canon in the sense of the Balto movies, or do you have your own canon and storyline, or do you just write them just because?
Well, some of the ones that I have written, I've tried to make it canon, at least after the third movie, because I find that if you try to write in between, it's very hard to sort of get the feel of like what's going on, because the movie is fairly established, like what happens in between, so it's kind of hard to fill in the blanks. But if you write in a gray area, say either before the first Balto movie or after the last one, it's much easier because you can have a bit more leeway in terms of how you want to write it and what sort of storyline you can create.
Yeah. What's your target audience for your fanfics?
I don't really have one. It's pretty much anybody who likes to read my fanfics, or people who just enjoy good writing can read them. I don't really have any specific age group or whatever that I'm targeting.
Okay. How long do you plan on writing? How long do you plan on writing?
Well, I hope to make a career out of it someday. You know, if I can make a little bit of money, you know, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I'd like that too. So.
This is actually something I had heard somebody else get asked recently. Do you ever actually role play out any ideas for your fanfics if you're not sure how they'll go? Like, I don't know if you use other people's characters or not, like with their permission, or maybe they ask you to put one of their characters in one of your stories. Do you ever, if you do you ever try to role play out a scenario if it's just not coming to you very easily?
Actually, yeah, I do. Oftentimes I'll be in the middle of a story and something is not working right, or you know, the plot seems a little screwy, so I'll try to place myself into the situation that the characters are in and sort of, well, if I was Balto, how would I react to a situation? Maybe Jenna gets lost in the woods or something. How would I, as Balto, feel?
Okay.
Well, where do you get your inspiration from?
All over the place. I'm a fairly avid reader, so I'm always got a book in my hand, and when I read a story, I look at what the author does and how it works and how I emotionally connect with a character. So I'll either try to do the same thing, or I'll try to come up with my own way of doing something in a story. I don't try to directly copy what other people have done, because I find that that's kind of redundant, and I would much rather do my own thing.
Yeah. Your fanfic gallery says that you are working on a collab story with Dragon Tamer. If you can, could you give us a little snippet, or even just tell us what that fanfic will be about? Or would you rather keep a surprise?
Unfortunately, I haven't really updated my that little section. That collab sort of fell apart due to Dragon Tamer and I having ideological differences, and I'll leave it at that.
I see.
It's not that, you know, we tried to make it work, but
I'm back again.
it just sort of fell apart.
Okay, hi, Conay.
Mortimer today. Being nice.
Okay, let me think. Had at least one more question. I can't remember what it was for the life of me.
Come on, Skull Blacko, what's up?
Yeah, come on, Skull. Why you
Have a knife pop in there.
Well, Conay, you have any questions?
What advice?
We want to get you some Mountain Dew.
What advice would you give to struggling writers on Animation Source?
I would say that when it comes to writing, don't try to force it. Don't feel like you're gonna make the world's best fanfic on Balto, because chances are you're not. Just try to do what you want with it. Make it your own. Don't try to copy anybody. Don't try to do anything that hasn't been done before. You know, do something that you want to do. make it your own. Because that way, it'll be a lot more fun for you to write. You can use your own characters, you can come up with your own plot lines, and then incorporating Balto characters into it will even make it even more enjoyable because you'll be making something that is your own.
That's good advice. I like that.
Yeah, sure is. I think that might have been my question.
Sorry.
No. I don't want to be the only one asking questions here. Thanks.
I was sure that one of the questions that would be asked is, I'm a fairly infamous soul stealer on the Balto.
Yeah.
So how do you like stealing those souls?
I don't know, maybe I trade them on eBay.
Craigslist. Something like that. Anyway.
I think my soul's been sold about 30 times this week.
You want to give us a little preview of some stuff you've got coming up?
Sure. I am working on the Beyond the Veil part 4. I don't know if any of you have read those, but essentially it's about Balto one day sort of wakes up to sort of find himself as a ghost almost, and it's sort of like how he's dealing with it. And what ends up happening is Steel takes over Balto's body, and it's about how Balto's trying to get it back and how to get his life back. Yeah. And I got 3 parts right now, and the 4th part should be coming up fairly shortly, I hope.
Sounds interesting. I'll be sure to check it out.
Yeah, it does.
I guess that's all the questions I have. And now you got any more?
No.
I have a question about what Ahura, that fanfic Ahura was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. You said that Steel takes over Balto's body. Is it does Balto also take over Steel's body, or does Steel have both bodies? And Balto's body?
No. Steel is as I wrote in, I think it was part 3 or part 2. Steel's original body dies. He ends up falling over a cliff in a snowstorm or something like that, and he comes and takes over Balto's body as a ghost.
Okay.
It's sort of his way of getting revenge for Balto.
This is Ahura in his souls again.
Yes, it is the Ahura in his soul.
Well, for lack of any other questions, do you have anything else that you want to add to this, Ahura?
Yeah, actually. Please visit Vermont. We need the tourist dollars, please.
We'll see what we can do. We'll raise a fund to put a Taco Bell in Vermont somewhere.
Yeah, because town is absolutely dead. I mean, the most in this town is maybe a few museums and a bunch of historical buildings, and that's it. There is no Taco Bell, no movie theater, no McDonald's, no Burger King.
Well, on that happy note, thank you very much for this interview, Ahura. We were glad to have you on.
Yes, thank you for coming on here and talking with us, and telling us about your petition and your fanfics and everything.
Okay, thank you very much, Ahura. And we move on to the mailbag. We are very excited. The mailbag actually got fed this time around.
Yes.
So, our old mailbag question: what do you think the Sourcecasters should dress up as for Halloween? And our very first response was by Mighty Balto 1925.
Mighty, we really love you.
Thanks for responding to our questions. Mighty Balto 1925 says, "I'm back, LOL. Let's see here. You know, I feel like being creative here. I'm going to divide you up into 2 seats. Anayu and Swords could be a washer and dirty clothes. I'll be nice and let Anayu be the washer. Sorry, Swords. Rusty and Skull could be a dryer, and Skull could be an iron. Well, I'd rather be an iron than a girl, personally."
You know, I'm almost tempted to dress up as a washer, and then when I show up at a party, somebody's going to be like, "Why are you a big box?" And I'll be like, "Shut up."
And then Wolf Bassist wrote in answers to different questions that we had asked earlier. answer to what are you just